Hi, everyone. Thank you for stopping by and thank you for your time. Well, this week, if there were any chapter in Immune for Life that I would want people to pay attention to, it would probably be this one. And that is when the WHO finally declared that the gold standard for infant care is breastfeeding. According to infant formula statistics, up to 40% of infants Only 40% of infants are breastfed worldwide, and some countries have percentages as low as 10%. This is the United States. What we know is that this particular statistic is associated with up to a 90% risk of chronic conditions later in life. Human milk contains a unique blend of proteins that provides energy, essential amino acids, and a variety of bioactivities that support healthy growth and development during early infancy. Breastfeeding reduces the risk of chronic diseases later in life, and for this reason, human milk is considered the gold standard for early infant nutrition, and the World Health Organization recommends that infants be exclusively breastfed for the first 6 months of life. Exclusive breastfeeding in the population of infants under 6 months old averages only 40% worldwide. This is the highest risk factor for chronic conditions. The influence of natural feeding on human health is profound. Breastfeeding is the most appropriate way to nourish infants. It promotes proper physical and intellectual development of the child. Human milk is unique and impossible to replicate with any other kind of food. Breastfeeding improves immunity and decreases the occurrence of infections, especially those of the gastrointestinal and respiratory tract. It also helps reduce the risk of some major disorders such as allergies, diabetes type 1, obesity, and hypertension. The start and end times of breastfeeding are fundamental, and each organ system are characterized by a critical period as a time of intensive development. Harmful factors such as malnutrition can lead to irreversible morphology and functional damages. Mother's milk is the most suitable food for the child. It consists of components suitable for building the immature gastrointestinal mucosa, the central nervous system, the endocrine system, and the immune system, and determines the proper development of other systems. Human milk contains essential vitamins, minerals, and other important components such as nucleotides and DNA, which are not present in artificial milk. The composition of breast milk is not constant and depends on the nutritional status of the mother. Human milk is species specific and adjusts its composition to the developmental needs of the infant. Amazingly, this can change hourly, dependent upon what the infant needs at a specific time. The composition of the mother's milk can change within hours. The first baby bottle was patented in 1841, and many previous nutrition studies identified health disparities between breastfed and non-breastfed infants. Various and numerous fortification efforts during this crucial infant developmental period have failed to rescue and reverse the chronic malnourishment status that is associated with not breastfeeding and adverse health outcomes later in life. Researchers found that malnourished children's microbiota failed to follow the healthy pattern they identified in healthy children. This work suggests the microbiota of malnourished children is immature, lagging in development behind that of their healthy peers. Supplementing these children's meals with widely used therapeutic foods increases calories and nutrient density, Supplementing these meals with widely used therapeutic foods that increase calories and nutrient density reduces deaths from malnutrition, but it does not fix this persistent microbiota immaturity. And perhaps more insidious than slowing growth is malnutrition's effect on less visible aspects of health, including impaired brain development and dysfunctional immunity, which follows these children throughout their lives. So the WHO has established some clear guidelines outlining current status, addressing this chronic malnutrition problem, and the resultant intestinal diarrheal diseases, and later the prevention of chronic disease. Researchers are quickly working to develop clinical advancement of these goals, and together this may establish a solid foundation for the future of tomorrow's children. This condition is known as SAM, severe acute malnutrition, and the risk factors in order are not breastfeeding, food, and that would be quality and quantity, and water security is number 3, and that would be proper sanitation. These are major protective factors against malnutrition and critical factors in the maturation of the healthy gut microbiota. This is characterized by a transient bifidobacterial bloom before a global rise in anaerobes, early depletion in bifido. A typical maternal probiotic represents the first step in gut microbiota alteration associated with severe acute malnutrition. Later, the absence of the healthy, mature anaerobic gut microbiota leads to deficient energy harvest, vitamin biosynthesis, immune protection, and is associated with diarrhea, malabsorption, and systemic invasion by microbial pathogens. A therapeutic diet and infection treatment may be unable to restore bifido and healthy, mature anaerobic gut microbiota. And this is the statement by the WHO. By focusing exclusively on these foundational health and immune development issues, up to 90% of chronic conditions can be eliminated. And if you purchase my book and the new ebook, I have a chapter with a chart that tells you that they know how many of these conditions can be eliminated, especially in the poorest countries of the world, where this research began to develop and culminated in this statement by the WHO. So you can clearly see that they fully understand the causes of chronic conditions, and that the figure does indeed reach 90%. So mostly what I would like people to take home is that there is no supplement, there is no diet, there is no drug that will help restore this healthy microbiota, and the closest thing on earth was discovered essentially by the Japanese, and that would be oral natural immune therapy utilizing bovine colostrum for such drugs as GCMAF and others. So bifidolongum is the champion colonizer of the infant gut. And I would also like you to know that this is not rescued by diet, by post-puberty. We know that, as with other conditions, the disease essentially can begin decades earlier, such as with Alzheimer's and diabetes. This is no different. By toddlerhood, many symptoms are already manifesting, and by post-puberty, this is when things begin to get serious, this form of malnutrition. And especially for women who were unfortunate enough to not be breastfed, they have a immature microbiota. They pass this along when they begin to have children of their own, and it can get worse if they embark on birth control. They pass this along, and we know the effects are generationally worse. So it's not rescued by diet. It's not rescued by any supplements aside from the ones I mentioned in oral natural immune therapy. And it is definitely not rescued by drugs. So it doesn't matter how much you try to restore nutrients with vitamins, nutrient-dense foods. The essential take-home message is that you have to restore the microbiota as if you were going back to the beginning. And that would include bifido as the champion colonizer of the infant gut. So that's the most important take-home message, that you will not be extricating yourself from any of these chronic conditions without considering this essential building block of development in the person. So along with bifido, colostrum also contains important immunoglobulins, and these include IgM, IgA, IgG, IgE, IgD, IgG, and IgA and IgM are the major immunoglobulins classes in mammary secretions. IgM is the class that appears initially when the organism is first exposed to an antigen. And IgA is the most common immune deficiency. So, what is the take-home message from the WHO statement in 2017? By focusing exclusively on these foundational health and immune development issues, up to 90% of chronic conditions can be eliminated. So that's probably the most important chapter in Immune for Life. We know that this protection from breastfeeding lasts at least until age 62, and that includes RNA and DNA repair. And these chronic conditions include thousands upon thousands of named and labeled conditions that begin to manifest, but this is the essential root of the problem. And the risk factors, again, are in this order: not breastfeeding, food quality or quantity, and water security. So I hope you'll pick up for Immune for Life, and you can learn about many of the chronic conditions that can be eliminated by focusing exclusively on this one fundamental factor that is missing from 90% of children in the United States and up to 60% of children worldwide as of 2005, and why the WHO has determined that this is one of the most important goals they've ever embarked upon to help eradicate up to 90% of chronic conditions. Okay, thanks everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye.